Hello, magical people of the internet. I'm Jen, and welcome to my vlog, I Never Thought I Would, where we talk about doing things we never thought we would do and the unexpected places that they can lead us. I have a phenomenal guest today, Aura Martinez. Hi, Aura.
Hi, and thank you. Thank you for allowing me on your platform.
Oh, thank you so much for coming to chat. I'm so excited to have a chance to talk to you today. You have quite an exciting business. You have a phenomenal book. You are an author. You are a self-discovery and empowerment coach. And I am sure you've experienced several things in your life that you never thought you would do in order to get where you are today. So, do you mind sharing one of those with us?
I never thought that I would be first a flight attendant. Yes, apart from being a self-discovery and empowerment coach, I'm also a flight attendant. It has shaped and it has led me to where I am today. I wanted to travel the world. What I did not think that in the process I would discover would be myself.
Before you get into your story, what's your favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Italy. I think in another life I must have been Italian or something. Well, I also speak Italian too. So that's the country that I feel like at home.
How did you get into becoming a flight attendant?
It was never a goal of mine to even be a flight attendant. I either wanted to be a lawyer or psychologist or a therapist. However, in college, I realized I had a knack for languages. I
Mm.
always had, but I just realized it even more in college.
Hmm.
So in like less than a year, like in a matter of months, I was able to write in Italian already and read in Italian.
Wow.
Yes. And while I was in college, I was also studying Portuguese on my own. I had this itch for languages, just this itch that I couldn't, I knew that there was something there for me. So that made me change route, that instead of going to law school, instead of getting my master's or my PhD, I said, okay, let me just see what I can do with these languages. Well, I had a 9 to 5 job. And every Saturday, actually, I used to volunteer at the airport at JFK. I was like the youngest volunteer at the airport.
What kind of volunteer work do they have at the airport?
So I was that person that was in the information desk, that
Mm.
if anybody had a question about the airport, how to get to the air train, that's the train that takes you from terminal to terminal.
Hmm.
So I would be that person that would help.
Cool.
Yeah. And so people were like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Well, I loved it. I think that when you have, this is very, very important what I'm about to say, because I think that so many times we ignore those those instincts of ours. I felt this desire for some reason to do some kind of volunteer work, and that it had to be at the airport. So when I did the Google search, that volunteer work came about.
Hmm.
Went for it, even though I didn't know where it was going to take me. Volunteered there for 2 years. Ironically, and it seems like the universe always gives you signs as to what is there for you, there would be people that would think I was a flight attendant. And I'm like, where is my luggage? Because that I know if I don't have a luggage here, I'm not a flight attendant. Like, yes. So I guess the fact that people thought that I was something that I am not at the time, I guess the universe was giving me signs. You're going to go down that path. To make the long story short, there was someone that worked in the same terminal where I was that said, I think you would be so good at being a flight attendant. Why don't you apply? And I, oh, okay, gave it a try, but it wasn't like a dream or anything like that. It just happened by accident.
Hmm.
And I think that when something is meant for you, when you have other interests in mind, the universe will find a way to make it all happen. And they needed someone who spoke Italian.
Yes, I was going to ask if the languages had a role in you getting that job.
Yes, had it not been because I speak Italian, they would have not hired me at the time because they were not looking for Spanish speakers. So glad that when I was in college, I leaned towards that, wanting to travel the world and learned Italian and all that good stuff. So for anybody watching, if you have like an inkling to do something, just lean on it, even if you don't understand where is it going to take you. When I turned 30, for some reason, and this is going to take me to the second I never thought I would, I felt so frustrated. I was like, okay, why am I so frustrated? I mean, here I am traveling the world. I should be very happy. I'm making good money. I'm doing something exciting. But it was as if something was not enough. After investigating and leaning into that frustration to understand what that was all about, hence that's why I created a course called Your Frustration is Your Liberation, because it is. I understood that that frustration was just my soul, my true essence, letting me know, hey, there's more for you. So I leaned into that, but I leaned into that without feeling so desperate as to what my calling is.
Mhm.
Tip number 2 for everybody watching here: when you know you're meant to be doing more, do not get so desperate to know what that more is, because that desperation, that anxiety that one may feel as to I need to know what, I need to know what, that can delay you from receiving that calling. So what I did instead was, okay, whatever I was curious to do, I leaned into it. I learned sign language. I did all this stuff, plus lose weight. You're going to see where I'm going with this. It's very important. I was enjoying myself in the process. And one good day, when I least expected it, boom, wellness coach. So I actually started out as a wellness coach when I first started in the coaching industry. It resonated. So I said, okay, so what do I have to do in order to be a wellness coach, and got my certifications and all this good stuff. But I realized there was something still missing, even though I was doing the whole nutritional aspect of the coaching. I was helping people get out of the sugar roller coaster. I felt like something was missing. Like, that is not exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm still going to go for it. My clients, as well as my own journey, is what led me to transition to what it is that I actually love to do, which is self-discovery and empowerment coaching. Why? Because, interesting enough, analyzing my whole weight loss journey and other people's reasons for why they couldn't lose weight, they would come to me not because they needed a meal plan, not because they didn't know how to eat right, because I think we all know how to eat right
Yep.
for the most
I
part.
think the information is available to us, but it's more of a psychological barrier or an emotional barrier.
Bingo. There was something else there that wasn't allowing them to actually make the right choices for them.
Mhm.
So it was when they were able to understand what led them to have that kind of relationship that they were having with food and with their body, that they were able to make those changes. That led me to becoming a self-discovery and empowerment coach, because I'm a believer that if you can fully understand yourself, really get intimate with yourself, intimacy, into me see, you're able to literally simultaneously change different areas of your life. When you get to understand yourself and know yourself, you don't only improve that area of your life, you improve other areas as well.
And it makes so much sense. I love the way you broke down the word intimacy, into me see. I feel like so many of us, we get home from work and we have a pattern of avoidance in terms of turning the TV on. We have so many distractions, going online, surfing the web, reading gossip columns, things that don't really serve us in any way, opposed to getting real with ourselves and saying, like, okay, why am I spending so much of my life avoiding my life?
That's something that makes this pandemic so interesting, beautiful, despite the challenges,
Mhm.
because it has forced us to face ourselves.
Yeah, we're all at a pivotal moment right now because of this pandemic.
Yes.
And especially, like, sure, we still have our devices because we're stuck at home, but so many of the other distractions that we would use to avoid facing ourselves and getting intimate with ourselves are no longer available to us. Your self-discovery and empowerment company is called Live to the Max, Viva Maximo. And just an aside, how many languages do you speak at the moment?
Almost 5.
English, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and what's number 5?
And some sign language.
Sign language. Wow,
Yes.
that's an inspiration. That's incredible. Tell us more about Live to the Max, Viva Maximo, please.
I do my work in both languages, both Spanish and English.
Amazing.
Yes. And the coaching is all about getting the person to really, really understand themselves to their core.
Mhm.
It's really to peel those layers. Because, see, many times the reason why we can't get to the core of who we really are is because we have these layers that are covering our true essence, whether that is a belief that we have acquired from a family member, from school, from whatever, you name it. Also, not only do I offer coaching services, I also have a book, I also have a journal. I also have a mug store, believe it or not, all about positive affirmations. So, as the person is drinking their coffee, their tea, their hot cocoa, they can take in those powerful words. Because many times we don't realize that the reason why we don't even have a healthy relationship with ourselves, the reason why we're not manifesting the life that we actually want, is because of the language that we use.
We have a real issue with self-talk. Somebody once said, I don't remember who, if you talk to your friends the way you talk to yourself, those people would never talk to you again. Putting yourself down, talking yourself out of great ideas that you have, and the self-doubt.
And it plays a big role in our mental programming. It
Mhm.
plays a big role in our self esteem. It plays a big role in our self concept. There's a difference between self esteem and self concept that I would like to explain here. Self
See,
esteem is the way you feel about yourself, whereas self concept is the way you perceive yourself, the
mm,
way you're viewing yourself. And so the way we talk to ourselves, our true essence sees the beauty in us,
mhm.
sees the beauty in the things that we're not willing to accept, sees the beauty in that frustration that we're feeling. I mean, I'm glad I felt that frustration. I wouldn't be doing these things that I'm doing right now had it not been for that frustration. And
Yeah.
it's when we fail to see the beauty in our emotions, which, by the way, I'm a believer that our emotions are just information from our true essence, which is our soul.
Mhm.
When we don't see the beauty in what we perceive as flaws, we miss out.
I couldn't agree more. And I believe it was Louise Hay who talked about an infant or a child. They're not concerned about the fact that their legs are fat or that they have rolls on their stomach. They're just fascinated with the fact that they have legs. And wow, oh my God, I have a body. This is so cool. This body lets me do things and feel things and experience the world. Wow, my brain is the most incredible computer that has ever been invented. Like when you think about the mechanics of what our body does without us even having to pay attention to it, it's like, well, maybe I really do need to like appreciate these amazing things that happen every day that I take for granted.
Oh, yeah. I think the moment that you're connecting with your soul, you are connecting to that spiritual aspect of yourself. So many times we ignore that part of us and we're only looking at the
Mhm.
physical part of us. And we're so much more than that. And you're right. It's time that we start appreciating every part of us. Our mind is the most fascinating machine, for lack of a better word,
Mhm.
because what we can do and what it can do without us having to remind it to, oh, my heart needs to beat, make sure my heart beats, or, and we take that for granted.
Mhm.
We take our bodies for granted. And when we do, that has to do a lot with self love and the way we're even viewing ourselves. So, anytime we get into that situation where we are not appreciating ourselves, we don't have a healthy relationship with our body and with food, for the most part,
Mhm.
it has a lot to do with self love. I like to say that I help people discover themselves powerfully because I think that when you get to the core of who you are, and you're able to listen to your own voice, not the voice of your parents,
Mhm.
not the voice of friends, not the voice of society or your culture, because that's another thing too. Many times we don't realize that the reason why we're doing the things that we're doing, the reason why we don't accept certain parts of us and I'm also speaking for personal experience, it's because culture plays a big role in it. We get all caught up in these ideas that we make it our own, but don't realize they don't really belong to us.
So now I want to get to your book, Creating a Life of Wellness. I'm sure some of the things we've touched upon. Ooh, look at that cover. Can you tell us a couple of the principles that you touch on in the book in terms of how do we peel away the layers? How do we get that intimacy?
The book touches on different areas of our life that we may not even realize that it influences and impacts our well-being. So some of those topics are you needing an oasis. And by the way, that oasis is your home. And interesting enough, this was published in 2017. And I think now after the pandemic, we can really see how important it is that your home becomes that oasis. It also touches on you knowing what your needs are, because when we don't know what our needs are in every area of our life, it's impossible for you to even manifest that life that provides you with that genuine happiness that you're seeking.
Mhm.
It also discusses the importance of choosing your friends right, choosing your companion right, because the relationships that we have, they impact us on so many levels and we don't even realize that. It also touches on sleep. The quality of our sleep, it impacts how we are in the world, how we feel, our interactions with other people. Sometimes the reason why we're not even in a good mood, we're not even enjoying life, it's not because what we're doing is wrong. It could be that there's something off in your sleep. Probably you're sleeping a little too much or a little too little, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word.
Yeah, and it's hard to be present when our sleep patterns are off.
Yes. I also discussed the relationship that you have with your body, because
Mhm.
even that is important. So, as you can see, that book is an easy read, but it's a read that I recommend that people read several times just so that the book, the message stays with you. The way you start is by giving yourself some me time. Give yourself some time. Be in your own little world. So,
Mhm.
say, for example, if being at home, sitting down, and writing isn't your thing so that you can really understand what's going on in your inner world, then go for a walk in nature. Because when we are by nature and it's just you and nature, there's something about it that it connects you with your feelings, that it connects you with your thoughts.
Mhm.
The second thing would be when you give yourself that me time or you time, which is going to be time with yourself, get curious. Get curious to understand why you're feeling what you're feeling. Get curious to understand why you're thinking what you're thinking. Where did that thinking come from? Is
Mhm.
it really yours or is it someone else? The third thing I think that is so helpful is to record those feelings and those thoughts. It's one thing when you have it in, but I think that when you record it, either when I say record, I mean you either write it down in a journal, and if you're not a journal person, then you record yourself, your voice. Because what that does is it allows whatever it is that you have inside to come out of you. Many times, the reason why we feel so overwhelmed and angry and any little thing pisses us off. Oh, what is this person doing? What is this person saying? Is because it's not what the outside is doing that is triggering us. It's the fact that we have so much accumulating within us.
And we need a release.
Yes, it needs release. We're stacking in all these thoughts, all these feelings, all these things that we have going on. It needs to come out. And as a matter of fact, it's a good thing when it comes out instead of remaining within, because I'm a believer that every physical dis-ease was first a spiritual dis-ease. If it's not expressed out, what happens is we start developing this dis-ease,
Mhm.
because those emotions, those thoughts, all those things, they have to have some way of being released. So record or journal whatever it is that's going on within. And then give yourself some time. Number four, give yourself some time before you reread or re-listen to whatever it is that you recorded, because you will notice perhaps some patterns Now, if all these things do not work, then hire yourself a coach that resonates with you.
Mhm.
And if it's very, very, very deep, like traumatic issues, by all means, a therapist, a psychologist.
So does the journal that goes along with your book provide exercises in order to go through these things?
This journal, Creating a Lifetime of Wellness, your personal coach to the different areas of your life. It's like having your own personal coach there with you. And so there are questions to prompt you to go deep within.
We'll have the links below, but please tell us, where do we find you? Where do we find the book and the journal?
So people can find me at www.aura, A-U-R-A, at aura as in your aura, emartinez.com. And there, when they go under the tab of shop, there they can find the book. There they can find the journal. There they can find the mugs as well if they really want to soak in the positive messages.
Excellent.
And also they can find the book, not the journal, but the book on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. And there's several other bookstores that also offer it.
Fabulous. Fabulous. This is so exciting. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today and for helping us, walking through this journey towards wellness. I can't wait to read the book and go through the journaling on my own. And I hope everybody else there is excited to do it too. So once again, thank you, Aura, so much for chatting today.
I thank you. I thank you.
And thank you, everyone in the interweb, for tuning in. And I'd like to challenge you to do something you never thought you would do, and let us know in the comments what it is and where it led you. It is never too late. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you are enjoying the content. Thank you and have a wonderful day.